Hey everyone, welcome to the House of Ed. I'm Eddie Gray, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the various options for app collection management that are available, at least on iOS. I imagine most of these are available on Android, however, I'm currently using Apple products for my iPhone, iPad. I even have a MacBook these days. But when it comes to video game collecting, what I tend to do is collect for consoles. I don't have any boxed PC games or Mac games, but when I started collecting for consoles, like seriously collecting for consoles, things got a little out of hand when I started shopping around. I'd be out and about, and I'd be looking at, let's say, GameCube games, and I wouldn't be able to remember sometimes, hey, have I picked this up or not? And I know that sounds strange to some people, but when you get into video game collecting, it does tend to happen. So what I had to do was search the App Store for a video game collection management tool. And I found a couple of apps that I liked, and then I had to choose between those two apps. There are several, but I'm going to focus in on two. And the first one here is CLZ Games from a company called Collectors with a Z. They have apps for collecting movies and, just all kinds of different stuff. Comic books, I think. But I purchased the CLZ Games app, which I'm going to open up here. Let me get out of that. I was looking for Trove, and apparently it's not showing up. So one thing I will mention straight off the bat is these two apps are apps that are focused on console game collecting. Excuse me. So the one thing that you'll have to do if you collect for console as well as for Steam is just realize that these two apps I'm focusing on are just for console collecting. They don't show up any PC games, or you can't mark that it's a PC version of the game that you own. However, you see here, this is what the Steam app is for. So this is the Steam app, and it can show me my entire collection of games that I've purchased on Steam. And that's where I've bought the vast majority of my games on PC. So you do have this as, you can install this on your phone and use this while you're out and about if you don't want to purchase, say, something on a console that you already own on Steam. However, even though I have probably 300 games on my Steam account, let's see if it shows. Doesn't show on the app, but I've got at least 300 games on Steam, and that's through all the Steam sales over the past 5 years or so that I've used Steam. But, this does show everything that you own on Steam through the Steam app. But when it comes to purchasing games, I think that just blacked out. Sure did. So let me reopen this app. Where's it at? CLZ Games. This was the first one I purchased for console collecting, and you can see right here a quick view of basically all of your collections. This isn't up to date anymore because I quit using this app. I found something that I personally like better. But I will show you just really quickly the interface here. It's a bit clunky, but these are all of the games that I own, so I can go into PlayStation 4, and it shows me a nice little grid of all of the games that I own. You can select each game, and it gives you a price breakdown of what this game is typically worth in the middle there, and I dig that. and you can blow up the front of the game box, which I do like. The other one that I use doesn't have this blow up feature, so I can see a full screen version of the game art. And then there's a description down here, which is cool. And occasionally you'll have a trailer that they pull straight from YouTube. Kind of a cool interface, but a bit clunky around the edges. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So what you can do, let's say I want to add a game. All right, so I'm going to click these three bars at the top left. And you have to go to add by searching online. That's the easiest way to do it. And then I can search for, here's a game that I just purchased recently, Beyblade V-Force on the GameCube. And then you can select Add to Collection at the bottom there. So I'll go ahead and do that. All right, so now it's added to my GameCube collection. But another thing you can do, let's see, I don't see it anymore. It looks like they've possibly moved it. You can search by barcode. So I'm going to show you that real quick, if I can find how to do it. I'm going to add by searching online. Okay, and then up at the top here, instead of searching for a title, you can go to barcode. You have to give it permission to use your camera. Here's my copy of Beyblade, and what I'm going to do is put it over, and boom, you can add it to your collection that way. Oh yeah, it's already in my collection because I just manually typed it in. But that's an easy way to do it. Here's another one I just purchased, Mystic Heroes. And boom, now I can add that to my collection. So anyway, the scan feature is a great way to add things quickly. However, there are some things about this app that I don't like. One thing is that there's not a complete list that I can just go through and, look at an entire console's game collection and see which ones I own in the bigger picture. There's no way to do that on this app. So even though I paid $15 for this app, I decided it wasn't the best app for me when I came across a different app, which was a third the cost. So that's the one that I'm going to recommend to you guys. Let me flip over to it. Let me show it to you in the App Store first. Excuse me. Where is it? Where is it? Right here, Collector. So the Collector app, I'm going to select it, and we can look at the features here. It only has 3.4 out of 5-star rating. I don't know why that is, because this is my favorite of those two, which, those are the two that I've narrowed down from like a field of 6 or 7 apps that I tried. You see it's made by David Sickledahl, one app developer. He pulls his records from various places, but the app is maintained and kept up to date. I really like it. And again, it's $4.99 versus $14.99 for the Collector's app, the CLZ app. I'm going to go ahead and open this one up and show you around. So you see at the bottom, you can select games and look at all the different game platforms that are supported. And then you can go into your collection and see what your collection looks like. And then there's a wish list that you can maintain. Now there's a wish list in the CLZ app, but again, you have to manually search for those and then add them to your wish list. It's kind of wonky. I don't like it. So this one started to work better for me over time. I'm going to go back to the Games tab, and you can see here, this is a full list of all of the platforms that are supported on this app. The ones that are check marked are the ones that I have selected to show in my default view. So if I click done at the top, it's only going to show those ones that I've selected. These are the consoles that I'm currently purchasing for. And so I don't really need to see all of the Amiga games. I don't really need to see all of the original NES games, because I don't purchase for them at this point in time. They're still there in the app. If I want to, let's say I want to select that, click done, go back to my default view, and then I can select NES, and here's all of the NES games. Now if you pick one, you can see there's an estimated value there, which is pretty helpful if you're on eBay or whatever. Now this is pulling from eBay sales. So eBay sales typically are a bit less than I typically pay for games, because I purchase games that are complete in box, are in better condition. I'll find them locally, or I'll find them on online retro game collecting stores. So I typically would pay a little bit more than that listed price there. But it does give you a good point of, a good view of what your game collection is worth, or a specific game is worth. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the Games tab. I'm going to take NES off. All right. So these are the consoles I'm purchasing for. And what I like about this app is you can look at all of the games for this particular console. And you can see there are some colored marks on the left-hand side. The green colored marks means that that game, like Avatar here, is in my collection. And then the Avatar game just above that has the yellow mark, that means it's on my wish list. It's super easy to add games to this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a few things that I just purchased, that Beyblade being one of them. So here's Beyblade V-Force. What you do is just drag to the right and add it to your collection, and boom, Beyblade has been added to my collection. Now I can select it, and I just got it complete in box, or just complete. GameCube games typically don't come in a box, but they do come in a case with a manual and, of course, the disc. So that's what is called complete in my collection. So I do have it complete. Let's go back to the main screen. I'm going to select from the Rolodex over on the right-hand side, I'm going to select M and go to the M's, because I'm looking for Mystic Heroes. There it is, Mystic Heroes. Now you see the yellow on the left-hand side. That means it was in my wish list. So I'll go to my wish list tab. And we'll find Mystic Heroes is on it. Well, maybe not. Oh, this is my Xbox. You see at the top, this is my Xbox wish list. So I have to scroll down to my Nintendo wish list. Well, I don't want to go through my entire wish list because it's pretty big, but just rest assured that when I add Mystic Heroes, which is currently on my wish list, when I add it to my collection, it's automatically removed from my wish list. So I'm going to go ahead and add it. And if you want to add something to your wish list, all you have to do, let me find something I care about because I'm not really into sports games. Need for Speed Underground, it's already on my wish list. Let's say I wanted to add Nickelodeon Party Blast. You would swipe to the left. No, you wouldn't. I'm sorry. You would tap it, and then you see add to wish list in the center there. Boom, and now it's on my wish list. I don't want it to be on my wish list, so I'm going to take it off. By swiping to the left. Oh, I do want that one. Okay. So anyway, it's a cool way to keep up with your wish list very quickly and the items in your collection versus what a complete collection of GameCube would be. Okay, so did I put Mystic Heroes on here or not? I don't recall. I'm going to search at the top right. Just going to search for Mystic. And yeah, I did add that to my collection. So let's go back to platforms. We'll go to the next. I've got 3 PlayStation games I just purchased. So I'm going to go to Sony PlayStation. I'm going to search for, there's, over 1,000 of these. Shows 1539 in the Sony PlayStation collection. So I'm just going to search for these rather than scroll through. But I just picked up Final Fantasy. I picked up Final Fantasy 9, so I'm going to add that. And Final Fantasy 8. Right there. I'm going to add that. Now, I'm going to tap Final Fantasy 8. You can see by default, the default condition is complete. So if you didn't get a manual or whatever, you could go in here and select whatever you want it to show up as, like missing manual. But I got mine complete. And then one more, I got Powerboat Racing. I'm just getting started with collecting for the PlayStation. VR Sports Powerboat Racing. There's no image for that one. That's kind of rare. All right, so done with that. Now when I go to collect, the collection tab, which is in the middle at the bottom there, I can select platform at the top. This is showing all of my games across all platforms, but I can select platform at the top, and I can go into Sony PlayStation, and it's only going to show the games that I own. And currently, I've only got 11, but I'm sure that's going to grow over time. I'm going to click platform again. I'll show you my GameCube collection. You see at the top, I've got 156 games that I own for GameCube, which is a pretty sizable GameCube collection. I'm not really looking for a complete collection anytime soon, but yeah, this is a really cool way to manage your collection. So I would recommend this one. It's only $4.99. It's been a lifesaver for me, so I haven't purchased duplicates while I'm out and about at stores and whatnot. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that and give you a brief review of the CLZ app as well as this collector app. This is the winner for me. So $5 would be the best $5 you'd ever spend for helping you to manage your console collection. So we're going to leave it at that. Glad you guys stopped in. I hope this was informative, and we will chat with you later.